Okay, so here's where we've gotten so far. I wanted to talk about reports. I got into a previous student's wind report, and I showed you a couple different things. One was, hey, I'm gonna put a battery with this, whether it's grid tied or not. One reason for putting the battery with a grid tie would be if you're not net metered. Another one would be if you're off in a remote location and a tree falls over your power line and you still want to keep your food from spoiling in your fridge or keep the lights on, what have you. So there's a little battery economic analysis. Then we did a wind payback analysis. And this is what your customer is going to look at to say, hey, am I going to buy this technology or not? And we whipped that whole thing up in, 20 or 30 minutes. So this entire spreadsheet could go into your report. So let's get back to the report. Because what we're looking at here is
the most disturbing ringtones I've ever heard.
is a full year of kilowatt hour usage. This is pretty cool that she had this. So I think she's looking at an average of 550 kilowatt hours per month. See, October, November. She doesn't have January. February skips March. But anyway, it's a full year. If I were doing this, I would rather see like discrete points
as opposed to the
curvy line. Yeah, I would rather just say, like plot them as actual points on a graph. The curvy line isn't really doing a whole lot. Yeah.
Can we do it in R?
What's that?
Can we do it in R with little triangles?
You can use triangles. Yeah, you can use triangles. Okay, now this is also something. If you're doing a turbine, you're probably hooking it into your electric. If you're doing solar thermal, you're probably offsetting your heating bill. And we did a heating bill example last week. If you remember, we just did one single panel for 200 watt hours. We didn't have any storage, and we assumed all on demand. Tim Chester is actually looking into some long-term storage, and one material he was looking at was just paraffin as a pretty cool substance that's just wax. He's also looking at different salt solutions. So calcium chloride has a fairly good latent heat. So the calcium chloride would actually come in and go out of solution depending on the temperature. So you heat it up and the salts can come up into the solution. You start to cool it and it starts to rain salt.
Oxidize off the aniline?
No, it's not even battery. It's just purely thermal. It's just purely thermal. So think about making salt water cold. The water itself is going to come up to the top and freeze. The salt is more or less going to rain or precipitate out of the water. Keep cooling it down further and further, and you're going to have two separate substances. So you're just looking at more or less thermal batteries. But so either way, whether you're doing electrical or thermal, you're going to want to have a chart like this.
What's that oil they use in a lava lamp?
Maybe glycerin? Some kind of glycerin? I don't know if it's oil, but I would say glycerin in a lava lamp. I don't know. It's just a guess. Okay. So treadmill. This is kind of ironic. Treadmill is actually consuming power. Strange but true.
Yeah, treadmills all consume power.
I know.
You could actually make a treadmill to make power.
I know. It'd be much better to just hook that treadmill up to some kind of
Well,
reactive.
all you have to do is take the power
Just put it on a generator.
power engine and
Yeah.
swap it around, so instead of going forward, it's going
Yeah.
backwards.
Yeah. I do have one of those. I hope it's still around. Just a 50
Put a button
watt.
light here on it.
Yeah.
What do they call it in that What do they call it in the axle of a truck? Oh.
Okay, so anyway, you are going to want to have this in your report.
Every little piece of,
Every little piece, because it's got to add up to your total bill. How else do you get your bill? And if you don't know, just sum them all up and say other, but these are all the things that are plugged in. But yeah, just list them out. How many do you have?
list everything that's plugged in, and then I guess you could just plug numbers in there and make it equal 100%.
Hours per day, yeah. Cable box, I mean, this is phenomenal that the cable and the TV are sucking that much juice.
How long you got the TV on?
Well,
8 hours a day.
whew,
The cable box is going 24/7.
that's a lot of juice.
What else you got down there?
There's the
Cable
fridge.
modem's going
Like,
24/7.
Yeah.
The cordless phone's going 24/7.
This is an exercise in itself. This is why you need your power, your kilowatt meter if you're going electric. Plug it in, how much does it draw, add it up, there it is. Max wattage, that's about right, 1.2 kilowatts on the house. Average daily, there it is, then there you get your bill. Okay, so that's your load analysis. Now, she's got the specs on the turbine, perfect. There's your 3 meters per second. That's that exercise we just did. Below 5 miles per hour, you're getting nothing. Estimate kilowatt hours. Okay. Now, the capacity factor for these turbines was not provided. Now, so she just estimated, she just took this entire curve and just said, we're running it like here, 25%, which is like the average. And somewhere in this, somewhere in here is the average, somewhere between these two guys. And if we multiplied, let's see what we got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bins equals that divided by 6, 252, yeah, the average is somewhere right in there. She said, well, I know that's 0, I know this is a lot, but there's kind of my average. So somewhere between the most and the least is the average. That's how she came up with that. She had two separate turbines, 2 separate technologies she compared. There's the power curve that we just mentioned. Like I said, at some point it tops out. There's power output. That is the cubic curve. There's a little more detail. It's just kind of aim for the middle on that. It's not clear to me why you're getting more watts produced into a battery bank. That's a little bit of a head scratcher here.
What do you mean?
Well, let's see, so for these wind speeds, I mean, the watts produced makes sense, but why the battery banks are affecting it is not, that's not immediately clear to me.
Maybe that's a bottleneck effect. Because 12 volt batteries, I mean, that's, if you think about a tube, you think about a water tube, you got a tube like this, 12 volt, you can only put so much water through that at a given moment. But if you got a bigger tube, you can fit more water into it. So the more volts you're getting, the faster it is charging, I would say.
It's possible that the larger batteries can just, well,
Absorb it faster.
yeah, it's not 100% clear why the, pushback. That seems like it'd be more function-specific technology. Anyway, so that's something to consider too, you know, what does your storage system look like? She's proposing putting this, on a roof.
Software that way?
Yeah, I don't know what software it is. It's kind of nice, though. She might,
Sim software.
yeah, she might have just done it with PowerPoint, too. I mean, it's not that challenging.
Yeah, put a couple of those little pop bubbles up
Throw,
there.
throw some trees on there.
Fill them out.
In general, it's not always recommended to put the wind turbine on the house itself. Usually better to have it off in the yard somewhere. You know, vibrations can just, you know, damage the house structure. Although it is good in general to have it close to the home power supply. So better location would be like here, off in the yard, because you're not messing with the house. Okay, so she breaks out. That's about right. So we guesstimated $10,000. That's about right. So there's the turbine, the controller, the battery, inverter, hardware, and dropping it off. There's the total. Here's for the other kit.
Battery, I mean, you look at that all, and I would say the battery is what's gonna cost you the most in that whole system overall.
Well, I don't know. In this particular case, the turbine was more expensive. Again, this is, like she said, this is the higher quality one, lower quality. And so from here, you might say, okay, how long till the thing breaks? Same exact math as how many times am I going to charge the battery? How long do I have to go and replace that turbine?
Plus, I mean, if you had something, you could always set your default brake system so it would only go so fast.
Yep.
I mean, if you're not really going to be able to process a bunch of that, I mean, there's no reason to have it up into those elevated RPMs if it's just gonna weaken the structure of your whole system. You know what I mean, keep it down.
And then that would burn out your brake too fast, though.
Well, the thing about it is the brake won't let it go. I'm not talking about caliper brakes or other brakes, I'm talking about mechanical brakes. Like,
They can always fail,
yeah.
especially if they're repeatedly used too often.
So this is pretty good. So this is a really nice table. First year utility savings, average monthly, average annual, 15 years savings. So appreciation and property value, this should have a dollar sign on it. Did the value of the property go up? Yes. ROI, and I don't know exactly how she calculated this, but I think it might just be the, you know, well, I think the reason, if you're just looking, and again, I don't know exactly how she calculated that. What I ran was just a simple payback, and for this course, you're more than welcome to run the simple payback. You know, do put in the federal tax credit if it's there. She also didn't put any interest on the loan, anything like that. But if it's a factor, I would say go ahead and put that in. Payback period, 14 years. rate of return, 44%, net present value, we can dive into that a little bit. I'm not going to get into it for this particular course. Those would be great numbers to put in if you know how to run that. There's your kilowatt hours per year, that's the cost. Rated power, fixed cost. Yeah. So the second turbine appears to be more attractive because of the 44% ROIs to the negative 29. This is also something to look into. So that's it. That's a project, you know. That's a neat little project she did right there. I think I gave her a pretty good score on that. So that's what I'm looking for. You need to have, you know, what the local building codes look like. You need to have all these financials. Again, if you want to just do simple payback, that's fine. But, you know, we just ran those numbers. You know, we just ran these numbers, years to payback, dollar per year savings. So, as I showed you, we were able to do that very quickly. She compared two separate technologies, also critical. Maybe you're going to do it yourself. Layton's going to donate the wind turbine that was made in 2011, so it's free. Maybe you pay somebody the couple $100 to install it, so your rate of return comes back much quicker.
I've already got a windmill set up where I'm thinking about doing it, but
Do it.
the problem is it's pumping, it should be pumping water out of the well
Yeah.
and irrigating the fields, but my uncle won't get his head out of his ass.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey.
Probably shouldn't have put it that way.
It's, you know, it's the language of the age we live in. So, anyway, this is a really good looking report. Let's take a look at another one.
I gotta get going, so have a nice day.
Hey, Tanner, good seeing you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, what time is it? 3-something?
Yeah.
I gotta run home because I forgot a piece of paper sitting in my printer.
Okay. All right, well, I will save this. Save this. Battery and wind. Save this.
Are we recording?
Well, I want to do one more thing, so we are, but I can pause it. Hang on. Hey, so I just wanted to wrap up the 242 lecture, and I looked for it, but I did not find any examples of reports done on solar PV, but I just wanted to, you know, wrap up and say I think we did a really good job covering the wind system that Erica Allen did. It had all of the quantitative information that someone is going to need to make a decision. A few things to keep in mind. She evaluated multiple systems. She did a full load analysis of the house. She also did a really good job with the economics. So again, you'll want to come back and do something similar to what we just did there in lecture, just looking at the payback years. You'll want to research all other financial incentives. You're also going to want to do something similar if you're looking at batteries. So go back, review the lecture if necessary, and I look forward to seeing your reports. I'll put a link in the shell for you to upload just a draft, so I know you're doing something. Okay, thanks a lot, and we'll see you next week.